Good afternoon. Come on in, please. Come on in. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21. We're going to talk about what's going on, what's been trending, and we're going to get into several different things. There's a lot of false information that's out there. You know my page. I normally debunk stuff. So we got to debunk a lot of stuff. We got to get to it. We got to talk about it. That's what we do. That's why the page is saying, let's talk about it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into my screen. I'm going to get into my disclaimer. It's going to take people like 1 or 2 minutes to come in. So that gives us time. But there's a lot of lies. It's unfortunate. There's a lot of lies that's going on, a lot of falsehoods, a lot of people seeking media attention, clicks, and views, which is sad because the case should really be about what's really going on. And there's so many, and we talked about that. There's so many different distractions that's going on, and we have to debunk a lot of it. That's what we do over here. There's so many different distractions. Okay, so let me go ahead, get into my disclaimer. And I'm glad people are speaking up because it is what it is. I'm glad people are speaking up because it is what it is. If you followed a certain person, it's been an issue in regards to falsehoods. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. So we're going to get into a lot, y'all. We got to. If you go check out my shorts, that tells a lot of what's going on, what's been going on. I appreciate some of the content creators that gave us information of what was happening in the lines. What was happening in the lines, what was happening when people were getting in elevators, when people were getting out of elevators, what was happening in front of the popos, and it's concerning. In regard to this Diddy trial, it is what it is. The jury made a decision, and people have to respect that. So let's get into a few different things. I'm going to talk about I did certain videos. I've been paying attention to a certain person that's been telling and flipping stories for a while. In regards to the Diddy case, I told y'all Tuesday, Wednesday, someone had said that they continue to flip the script on certain subjects, certain contexts. I told y'all that Tuesday, Wednesday. So when everything blew up on Thursday, yeah, well, no, because that was Monday, Tuesday, I told y'all. Because remember, they ended everything on Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, I told y'all everything. Yeah. So I had told y'all that. And y'all was like, who? And then it's a journalist I listened to. He had said, was sitting next to, going on their page. We're sitting next to each other. I come out and listen to their report, and it's slightly different than what's being talked about in court. I was like, what's going on? So when things happen the way that they happen, I wasn't surprised. Because I stopped listening a long time ago. When they said somebody was RIP, concerning. When they said somebody got arrested and they didn't, concerning. When they covered the Kardashians and Black China case, concerning. Because you didn't have all eyes in that courtroom. The courtroom was closed. So that in itself, people don't know that. I was covering the Kardashians and Black China case as well. So to trend and go viral, they would basically say, oh, I got ears. Okay, so is the judge telling you stuff? No. Is the person that's sitting next to the judge that's typing telling you stuff? No. It was closed court. So people were calling them out then. People were calling them out 2 years ago. So let's get to this. In regards to the Diddy case, people were saying that certain things were said. Oh, we're going to deliver you a racketeering case. Certain things were said. This is the biggest thing. You got to be careful what you say, how you try and spin it. That's why my page is different in regards to making sure we debunk stuff. Because I would see certain titles about stuff, and it's like, that's not what happened. You're doing click and bait to get people in, and then you talk for about a good 6 minutes, and then the last 2 minutes, you finally get to what you want to talk about. Many people are asking, is she okay? Is she okay? Is she okay? Is she okay? Because when you get on now news media and you're saying people were making unwelcoming comments to you, we saw the video, what he said. We saw the video, what the other guy said. They did not make threats. So why are you allegedly saying people are making threats and we're hearing the videos? Why are you getting on a news media saying certain things that weren't even said? Okay, so people are talking about the line situation. The court should have made sure they did better in regards to the line situation. Once people, whether that's a police or whether that's a sheriff, whatever, hand out numbers. That would have made it so much easier. And they should have constantly had people, police, and the police ain't got time to be policing y'all and y'all being in the line. There were people that I watch that was getting there at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. But you got to realize there was people when court ended the day before. When court ended the day before at 3, 4, or 5, there were people already standing in line the day before. They were having line sitters sitting there. Okay? Even when the line moved up, it was concerning. You got to realize there are people, husbands, spouses, boyfriends, son, that may be standing in line for a mother, aunt, whatever. That line situation was a situation because certain people love drama. Certain people love drama. They love it. They went there to cover it because of the drama. They want to falsify stuff because of the drama. They want to falsify stuff because that's what they do. You see the clickbait. You see the titles. You see when people are basically trying to say a court case date is wrong. What? How are you trying to switch the narrative of a court case date being wrong, and you think you know the proper date? You don't know these people. You don't know the situation. So it's a lot of concerning things, and people keep saying, is she okay? And I'm going to be general because there's two situations I'm talking about. I've seen it, I've heard it, and I've watched certain ones, and it's like now all of a sudden you're there. You weren't there for the first 6 weeks, and now you want to go the week of, and you're claiming people are bothering you. Why did you go? This is the biggest thing. If you felt your life was in jeopardy, why are you there? People went to get the story. People went to get the coverage. There were a lot of people that didn't cause drama, didn't cause conflict. They covered the story. They covered the story. And then you can't promise a RICO. Some of the lawyers didn't even know if they had a proper RICO. Some were saying we can kind of see it, but will the jury see it? The jury made a decision, and people have to accept that. The jury made a decision. See, my page gets a lot of views. That's why I'm covering it. I'm not giving no names. I'm not saying, y'all know what's going on. My page get a lot of views outside of certain people. So I don't do YouTube beast. I don't do YouTube go back and forth with people. But I'm hearing things, I'm seeing things, and I know what it is because I know what I've experienced. In the last 2 years, I know what I've experienced. So there's no jealousy here. I'm getting numbers. I get millions of views per month. I know what I experience. In regards to if I have a story that I'm covering and it's trending, that person will take that story and they will make it trend for them. So certain times I wouldn't cover certain people because I didn't want her to take it and then start trending and talking about them month after month after month. So certain things I wouldn't cover because if it trended, she would immediately take it. And she would immediately then start talking about it and say, okay, I could do better. I experienced that. I experienced my talking points. Back in the day, in my comment section, I used to make talking points. It was almost like they would screenshot my talking points, and they would talk about the talking points like they were talking to me. That was so weird. And it would be like, okay, I said that. 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 When I say certain zingers or certain things like follow the money or There was something else I said. Follow the money. Where's Rob? Certain comments they would take and put it in titles so they would get the views. I am a person, I don't know what it is, but you guys listen to me because we're fair. I'm not seeking drama. I'm not seeking conflict. I told y'all I didn't care about going there. If somebody would have gave me a free plane ticket or somebody would have gave me a free room, I still wouldn't have gone. I'm happy in the comfort of my home, but not a lot of people are like that. They needed this to boost their page. And then I notice things. My boyfriend, my friends, they say you notice things before we even notice it. You notice a lot. So one of my favorite people, I told y'all 4 weeks ago to tune into. I told y'all to go listen to this person, that person. I already said the names. I already told y'all who to go watch. So when one of those people started going on news, one of the people that love media attention, they said, well, he's getting that. I want that too. Yes, they wanted that same attention he was getting. So when I got information. So one of the guys had said she seemed cool with me, but then after a while she started distancing herself like I did something to her, and I didn't do nothing to her. And in the comments, I typed to him, she likes to watch, evaluate, and duplicate. Put it in the comments. She likes to watch. Now I done lost it. She likes to watch, evaluate, and duplicate. Put it in the comments. Watch, evaluate, and duplicate. She likes to duplicate a lot of people. Now, I'm a single page. I don't go on other people's pages to get views. I'm a one person show. That's just how it has to be. I noticed back in the day she would go on other pages to talk and get on those pages to get their viewers. So a lot of women stopped messing with them 2 years ago. A lot of women stopped messing with them 2 years ago. So I would see them go on this page, then they were no longer there. I would see certain people assisting her, they're no longer there. So I noticed things 2 years ago. I noticed a concern in regards to the Kardashian case in Black China. Real talk. So there's been concerns for 2 years. People are just now catching up to what it is. And people keep asking, is she okay? They like to watch, evaluate, and duplicate. Put it in the comments. Watch, evaluate, duplicate. So when the situation came up and the guy said, stop saying what you're saying and apologize to his family, he was basically saying, we keep hearing that you're making alleged falsehoods and false comments, and we just need you to tell the story as we're hearing it in court. We need you to say it of what you're hearing in court. You can't put that much of a spin on it and have people think in a different way. It's not okay. So for Monday, Tuesday, I had been hearing things and I kept it quiet. Then Thursday, Friday, people start talking about what I had heard that Monday, Tuesday. This is the biggest thing. When there's like reality TV people, they'll do anything for a click and bait. Now, certain YouTubers are doing anything for clickbait, and it's a concern. Certain people didn't have to do what they did for clickbait. They could have just chilled out, had a good time. This is the biggest thing. Not a lot of YouTubers had to have security. Why do you feel you need it? What did you do or what did you say where you felt you needed it? A lot of people didn't have security, which was fine. They felt comfortable being there because they knew other people were there. And there's a certain one, my favorite. They went through so much. I felt so bad for them. They covered the story and they did amazing. And then they had an article written about them. They stayed away from the drama. Certain people wanted the drama. They wanted the conflict. They wanted the drama and the conflict for their page. And then allegedly you're going on alleged news media saying stuff that just didn't happen because it's recorded and we can see what's happening. So over the last few days, people have been talking about certain people not telling the truth. And it's a concern. My page get a lot of views. We get a lot of views. We get a lot of views. That's why I'm covering it. There's been an issue for 2 years, y'all. Y'all just now catching up, baby. And there's no jealousy here because I get millions of views per month. There's no jealousy here. None. I applaud who I need to applaud. And I tell y'all all the time, we debunk stuff. If I hear something, we'll debunk it. Um, and a lot of people want to be first. Oh, I've got the exclusive. No, I don't have to do that. I come on live when I can come on live. I do what I need to do when I can do it. I don't have to be first. And I told y'all this too. One of my favorites taught me, you got to hear it from three sources to make sure you put it out the proper way. Y'all remember when TMZ said certain charges were dropped? And I think it was basically rewritten for the jury to understand. And then TMZ had to go fix that. Remember that? TMZ had to fix what they said. And then remember, in the beginning of the trial, TMZ was doing, what is it, the Angry Whatever podcast or something. Harvey and that one man was speaking together, and allegedly it was said that people are watching that podcast, making sure they don't overstep their bounds. I got to watch what I say. They don't overstep their bounds. So that was an issue in the beginning of the court case, okay? So when these men came up to her saying, hey, you need to be telling the truth, that's what your viewers want and need. And then she had said something about he's still not going to suck your girl. Why are you making comments like that? That was unnecessary. So people felt the dancing, the moving the hair, and then just constantly stuttering, saying the same words, not knowing how to regroup. And then another gentleman came up and he said, you need to apologize to the family. Tell the story how we're all seeing it in court. So people kind of felt that there was a spin on it. It was kind of animated to get the clickbait and get the views. Okay. So let me get to another situation. Many of our favorites were there covering the trial. Did an amazing job. They would cover the trial. Yes, make sure three sources. Three sources. You don't have to be first because you could get it wrong. Saying people are no longer here, saying people are in jail, covering the Kardashian situation, and some of that was a falsehood. I covered it too. You know, you got to be careful what you say. You can't be falsifying stuff. So let's go to the next situation, and then I'll go back to the situation. Okay, so some of our favorites were covering the trial. They would do their lives in the morning, or they would do their lives on break, right? Or they would do their lives 2-3 hours after the trial, okay? So when I noticed someone that was actually covering the case from home, I was like, all of a sudden, okay, you want to go. And other people did this too. I noticed this thing too. Let me talk about another person. Since another person noticed that people were getting coverage and doing interviews with the news, a lot of other YouTubers started popping up. They were like, hold on, I got as many subscribers as they do. Maybe they felt that they could get on a news station, get an article written about them. There was several that was already there. Media, there was about a good 10 great media people that were there covering it. Men, women, whatever. Then other people started noticing these people were going on the news. I'm not going to mention names. So he did an amazing job going on the news, going on to Angela Yee, going on different news media. So then I told y'all they like to watch, evaluate, and duplicate. So they said, bang, I got more subscribers than he do. Why is he on the news? It should be me. Basically, because just like with my channel, copying, regurgitating what I'm putting in my comments. Go back and look at some of my videos. I'm telling you, you go back and look at some of my videos, and you go back and look at my my comments, you'll see that that's what they were talking about. You'll see that it was almost like they were talking to me. Craziness. And I talked to my friends and family about it for a while. So when they start calling her a liar, I wasn't surprised. So many people were like, okay, I'm home and I'm reporting it. Now I'm a go. So now let's get to the person that's causing more drama. There's another person that's causing more drama. They were there for the final week of the trial. So I was like, oh no. They like to code switch. They like to make it seem like. And I said, oh no, bet money I said this, bet money they gonna cause a scene, they gonna cause drama, they gonna do something for media attention, clicks, and views. Baby, not even a week later. Not even a week later. Not even a week later, they're standing in line and they're having a situation with people that's standing in line. Older women, beautiful skin, beautiful outfits, they got a problem all of a sudden. And they're kind of going back and forth. And then she's trying to act like she's the victim, but we're hearing different things that she's not the victim. She's actually causing a scene. Just like the other people they're saying is lying, she was walking up to men like, what's up? And men were like, I ain't got nothing to say to you. I know you be lying, so I'm not even going to confront you. So many people are calling out the liar. Many people are calling out the one that wanted drama and seeking drama. So now they're trying to play the victim. So people are speaking up saying that's not what happened. She was being rude to us. She was being shady to us. She was bobbing her head, grabbing her hair, code switching, causing drama. That's what we're hearing. Yeah, let's see. I tried to tell everybody. She was causing drama. So for a few days, I didn't understand what was happening. So I just watched somebody talk about the person that the last week that was causing drama. She was saying there was an article. Let's get very clear. So there's a lot of lawyers in line. Okay, there's a lot of lawyers in line, and one of the women said you need to read that because you're not explaining it back to me in a truthful way. She's like, okay, let me reread it. So then allegedly other people wanted to read it, and I guess she made a comment that they can't read. Either they can't read or they can't understand the legal jargon. It was one of the two things. Either they can't read or they can't understand the legal jargon. So other people that were conversating, people try to be cool with people, but there were certain people that was trying to push up for clicks and views. There were people that were trying to get to be a distraction or have something to bring to their viewers. It's a shame, and it's sad. Why do you go to cause drama and issues? So now they got their viewers thinking, oh, woe is her. I was wondering if you was okay. Please spare me the drama, spare me the conflict. You went there to cause issues because it don't seem like they got along with a lot of people. It seemed like they went to cause drama and issue. And then sometimes with their videos, they're trying to show themselves and, oh my goodness, it was a lot, y'all. Cover the case, cover the case, cover the case. And then people were doing an amazing job covering the case if they were working from in home, reading what Inner City Press was covering. They were doing great. But see, that's the problem. And it was great that Inner City Press was covering it. But what was happening was the people that were actually in the courtroom was getting a lot of great views. Why are you here? People that were in the courtroom getting a lot of views. And see, Inner City Press is not going to cover what the drama is. Inner City Press is going to be focusing on what the judge is saying, what the attorneys are saying. So that person kind of got jealous that other stuff was happening outside the courtroom as they're spending 5 or 6 hours and 6 hours in front of the computer. Other people that's in the courtrooms or the overflow room was seeing certain things different. They were seeing how Diddy was acting. They were seeing how the jury was reacting. They were seeing how the interaction was happening in regards to the jurors and him getting, advice from the attorneys, or Diddy passing notes, or Diddy giving hearts to the family. So then they started getting jealous. It's like, oh my goodness, I need to go because I need that experience, because a lot of my people are saying, well, this is going on too. And they felt a way that they couldn't cover it because they weren't there. And then you have people saying you weren't in the courtroom. You don't know. But there was reporters that was in the courtroom. You didn't have to really be there. Actual reporters, journalists was there. People did not have to be there to cover the case. Yes. So there's a lot of drama going on, y'all. I'm only covering, I don't do clickbait. I don't do clickbait. I ain't got no beef with nobody. I just know people love drama. They love conflict, and they love to do clickbait for clicks and views. What will they cover next? What will they cover next? That's the biggest thing. They have to figure out what to cover next. And they might have, and you realize the last week, there was so much drama in regards to YouTubers. Why all of a sudden there's so much drama? And then one of the women say she almost bumped into me. She almost bumped into me, and I had to be like, girl, be careful. That was what one of the girls was saying. And then allegedly going up to men. It was kind of like, what's up? Some of these women were doing too much. Some of the women were doing too much. Real talk. It's sad, but true. Some of the women were doing too much. And they're being called out for allegedly lying, or they're being called out for allegedly making falsehoods. And we're hearing the different interviews. And then the other people that's standing in line, they're making TikTok videos saying that's not what happened. That's clearly not what happened. I stood there, and this this Caucasian man is sticking up for the African American women. This Caucasian man is making his TikTok videos, and he is sticking up for the African American women, saying that didn't happen. And allegedly people got they got GoFundMe because they're acting like they're concerned and fearful. And y'all be careful. And see, this is the biggest thing. This is why I came on talking about it today. Be careful who you listen to. If y'all don't see the clip of what happened to them, don't believe it. They're trying to pull you in, and they're trying to make lies about what happened. If you don't see the video of what really happened to them, don't believe it. If you don't see the video of it, don't believe it. There's so much going on. There's so much going on because they need to figure out what they're going to talk about next. Yeah, it's a joke. It's a joke. Cover the case. Why do you have to get there and cause drama in the line? And then let's make this clear too. I was listening to someone great last night. He's an amazing person, and he's had some unfortunate things happen outside of this court case, and they did an amazing job covering the court case despite their own personal stuff. They were saying at one point the courts allowed certain people to go ahead. So remember how when we covered it the first several weeks, and the courts was allowing 24 passes for press and 14 passes for social media people and the public. It kind of switched. So if you were in line that day, somebody from the courts or whatever, or assisted the courts, gave certain people passes to go ahead. So I didn't know that until last night. So no matter what happened the days before, the days after, if you were there that day to get the certain pass from the courts, you were able to allegedly go ahead, allegedly. So people were big mad because they weren't there that day to get that alleged pass. Okay, then other people got passes. They got press passes to go in, which was great. They got their press pass before they got there. Some people thought that they could get their press pass when they got there. And it took time, and they didn't get their press pass till like the last 2 final weeks of the trial. There's a lot of people that did amazing work. There's a lot of people that didn't cause drama. They're not lying. They're not doing stuff for clickbait. They're not falsifying things. They're not being animated to cover the trial. There's a lot of people that did amazing work. And that's what we have to focus on. The people that did amazing work, not people that's seeking drama, conflict. That's it. The court case ain't about you. The court case is about him and what transpired. And the biggest thing is there's victims out there. Many people felt he was on the stand alone. Why didn't you also have other people with him? Why didn't they have other people with him? And this is the other thing too. We're generally talking today. Why was he the only one on trial? Many people question that. And I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me. KK didn't take the stand, but they talked about her. Other people were talked about, and they didn't take the stand. Other people were talked about, and they did not take the stand. They did not bring them in. Why? Is anybody illegal in this chat? Let me know something. Why didn't they go after him about what they found in his house, the substances. Why didn't they go after him of what they found in the hotel before he got arrested? Why didn't they do something about the substances? Why didn't they do something about the substances in the hotel? I'm so confused. And for me to be confused, you're about to turn yourself in and you have substances in your room. Why are they not addressing him and the substances? So many people, okay, this is the other thing we got to debunk, y'all. People are trying to say he paid off the jurors. You know how illegal that is? We got to debunk that. People are trying to say he paid off the jurors. That's not true. Do you know how much trouble him or his team would get into if you're trying to pay off the jurors? There's only alleged one juror that I've heard. There might have been two. There was an alternate juror that kind of spoke out. He felt that he would have made the same decision that the jurors made. Some people are saying, oh, they flipped. Remember how that Tuesday, the jurors couldn't decide on count 1, the RICO. But then they knew what they were going to do about count 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go look up what the counts are. Many people are saying the judge should have got information that Tuesday. Many people felt they needed to get information that Tuesday because when they came back that Wednesday, it was almost like they felt away. The jurors didn't want to come back after the holiday. A lot of this stuff should have happened the week before. In regards to the court case, let's be very clear. There was a lot of repetitiveness. Some of those people were on the stand longer than they should have been. Some of those people were on the stand longer than they should have been. And then this was the other thing. The sidebar stuff was a concern. The ejections were a concern. But can anybody tell me what was found in his home? Why was he not charged for that? What was found in the hotel? Why was he not charged for that? And maybe that was a part of the RICO. You know what I mean? Maybe that's the part of the RICO. But how could they not? And then did you notice a lot of stuff, 30, 40% was about Cassie, 5% about Jane, 5% about Mia, and then 5% about the assistants. They didn't want to hear it. I think so. Many people were calling out the attorneys on the Fed side of how they handled it, who they didn't call. Diddy dated other people outside of Cassie, baby. He dated other people outside of Cassie, and some of those people weren't called in. How is that possible? And I get it. They were saying that another person was supposed to take the stand, and allegedly she went MIA. And then she was like, I didn't go MIA. Girl, you was not seen until the verdict was being read by the jurors. You came out like a day or two before the jury was deliberating. Of course, they're not going to call her once the jury's deliberating. You know what I'm saying? So that in itself was a concern. So the biggest thing is that it's up to the judge in regards to those 2 counts. What will he give Diddy? What will the judge give Diddy? Will he give him somewhat time served? Just stay focused on the case, y'all. There's a lot. Be careful. There's a lot of drama going on, and it's unnecessary drama. They're trying to attach themselves to this case and trying to be like, woe is me, and this comment was made to me. Well, if you got security, ain't nothing gonna happen to you. Other people went that was bigger, well liked. They didn't even have security. And then people were saying people was causing a little drama. You know, they were kind of, bumping into and making sly comments, but they still didn't get security after that. But people like drama, y'all. People like drama. People like drama. People like conflict. People like to make false comments. And that's why over here, let's talk about it. We debunk stuff. We cover stuff. But I don't do YouTube beasts. So they get in the chat saying, oh, let's talk about the media's lying. They don't know. I know. I didn't listen to everything I need to listen to. And if I've experienced things, I've seen it for the last 2 years. Y'all just now catching up. Y'all just not catching up. And you got to realize that Monday, I had told y'all that they were being called out for lying. And then everything broke that Wednesday, Thursday. I told y'all. And y'all was like, who? I told y'all that Monday, Tuesday, they were being called out by a journalist that was trying to be cool with them. And they had said, I don't like how she's animated. We're sitting next to each other, and all of a sudden, she's not telling what I'm hearing. It's crazy. It's crazy. So just be careful if people are trying to play the victim. That's all I got to say. Just be careful if people are trying to play the victim. They should be focusing still on the case. And if they're trying to make it about them, be careful, be cautious. Because some people like to watch, evaluate, and duplicate. Put it in the comments. Watch, evaluate, and duplicate. There's a lot of lies going on, y'all. A lot. And some men spoke up. Now, should they have spoke up the way they spoke up? They spoke up the way they felt they should speak up. Because if people were tired of the lies, people were tired of the lies that Monday, that Tuesday. And then everything erupted that Wednesday and Thursday. I told y'all that Monday, Tuesday. I told y'all. And y'all were like, who? And I was just like, give it time. I was like, give it time. So be careful what's being talked about. People are seeking clicks, views. People still need to focus on the court case, what's happening with Diddy. And I told y'all, Diddy's attorneys did a great job. Diddy's attorneys did a great job. They did. He had several attorneys. I told y'all that Tuesday, Wednesday, he had an attorney that was pulling up case law. So when the judge would ask about case law, that young person pulled up the case law. I was telling y'all stuff what was happening in court, giving y'all information of what was happening from the news. So we covered it. Case closed. The jury made a decision. The jury made a decision. Period. And people have to respect that. Calling the jurors names, not acceptable. Not acceptable. Where they do that at and for what? And then I appreciate when people are like, you know, you were pretty cool. You would tell us if you felt that certain people weren't telling the truth on the stand. You would tell us that you know there were certain documents that showed the truth. But then when they got on stand, they fought. We talked about different stuff. That's what we do over here. We debunk false narratives. We debunk false stories. So there's a lot of people that's talking about this court case. There's a lot of people that's seeking media attention, clicks, and views. There's a lot of people that's seeking sympathy. So be careful what you listen to. There's a lot of people that's not telling the truth. Got on news media and was saying stuff. And there's video out there. Those people didn't say that. But it is what it is. So now we know about the line situation. You know what I mean? Now we know. We know that the courts may have given certain people privileges to go ahead towards the last week or so, or the last 2 weeks. The courts may have given them, you know, slight passes because they may have felt you've been here. You shouldn't have to pay for line people to sit here. And it's like, okay, let us save you some money. You know, life is crazy. People are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You know what I also noticed too, y'all? Let me grab this. Have y'all noticed a lot of these YouTubers drink? A lot of these YouTubers drink. A lot of them. A lot of them drink. And we be like, what's going on? You all right over there? And it's okay to drink. But if you come online and you intoxicated, or you saying certain things, or you doing, it's concerning. And then it's like I said, people are asking, are you okay? People are asking, are you all right? So we'll see what he gets. It's right now in the judge's hands. You know, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, y'all. But just be careful if people are trying to play victim and they're trying to make this situation. And understand, there's police out there. In the outside, there's police inside. And if anything would have happened, or if a threat was made, people had their cameras out, y'all. People had their cameras out. So if there was threats made, they would have showed those comments to the police. Right? If there was unwelcoming comments made, don't you think they would have showed the police that was right there? Oh, let's get to this too. Okay. So after they made a decision on what the verdict was, Diddy's family left, right? And they were celebrating that he didn't get RICO. And then Diddy's family came back when the judge denied bail. But before the family came back, the police started putting barricades out because the police did not know what the judge's decision was going to be. So if he was going to walk free, they had to make sure they had to control that crowd. People are trying to make it seem like after their situation is when the police came out with the barricades, y'all. People are lying. They're making it about them. They're lying. No. The family left. People were doing the baby oil situation. Some people were getting loud with other people about the verdict. But the police was already going to bring those barricades because they didn't know what the verdict will be. They didn't know what the verdict was going to be. So they did what they were probably supposed to do per the police department. See, certain people were saying, oh, I had to be escorted out. I had to be escorted out. I was running and nobody was running. Nobody had to get it. You know, what are you talking about, girl? So if people are celebrating the oil, then you're saying people were running for their lives? What? What are you talking about? The story's not adding up. 1 minute you're saying I had to be escorted out, and that's why the barricades had to be put out. Untrue. Then you're saying that people were celebrating the baby oil. Which one was it? Sad world. Sad world. Be careful of the falsehood that's being talked about, y'all. There's so much misinformation. There's so much misinformation, and people are trying to play victim, and you should not. You should not. So the judge is going to make a decision. It's being reported that he could be going in front of the judge, or it might be what is it? When they chime in, they may Skype in October. No, I'm not defending Diddy. Are you new to my page? No. Are you new to my page? We talked about him being with those people and playing in the juices afterwards. That is gross. We talked about what the women went through. Sad. We talked about the employees and how they were treated. Are you kidding me? My page is not okay with the crap that was done. There are laws that were broken in regards to what happened with the women, in regards to how he treated his girls. And like I said, are you new? Nobody ain't defending. Are you kidding? I just asked, why are they not charging him for what was in his home? Why are they not charging him for what was in his hotel? What? Wrong page. So, like I was saying, either they're going to Skype in on what the judge's decision is. Some people are saying he could get less than 5. Exactly. Check this out. Did y'all hear allegedly they didn't go in his basement? Allegedly, reporters, not media, reporters were talking about when they raided his home, they allegedly didn't go into the basement. Why would you not go into the basement? Reporters were talking about that. Reporters were talking about allegedly his basement was not raided. That's crazy to me. KK not hitting the stand. That's crazy to me. Bodyguards not hitting the stand. That's crazy to me. Ex-girlfriends outside of Cassie not hitting the stand. That's crazy to me. Okay, Jane Mia. But He dated other people outside of Cassie. They were concerned about other women's stories being parallel to Cassie. It's so crazy. There's so many things. And everyday people were calling out each side. Diddy's lawyers, they came. And think about it. What's his name? Brian Steele. This is the second RICO case. This is the second RICO case he won in 2 years. Brian Steele was on the Young Thug trial. Now he's over here helping Diddy. Y'all gotta admit, Diddy's lawyers did not play. Also, remember how we talked about this too? Remember how they wanted people on the stand to basically be like, yes, no. I need to explain stuff. I need to elaborate. Don't put me down to like no yes, no. Limit my time being here, but don't break me down to a yes, no. I need to elaborate what happened that day. I need to elaborate how I felt that day. It was concerning how people were like, happy holidays, miss you. And then remember how they asked Cassie, do you still have love for Diddy? I still got love for him. No. How many of y'all broke up with a dude and it's like, no, I don't like you. Stay away from me. I don't get how people were sending messages like they were cool with what was going on. But then you get on the stand and it's like, no, you should have put that in messages. If the messages would have relayed how they really felt, but let me tell you this. People were saying Diddy don't like negativity. You bring it his way, he gets really pissed off. People were saying he likes for people to be positive. So maybe that's why they sent the messages why they sent them. Maybe that's why they sent the messages, the way they sent him. They said Diddy don't like negativity. You send some crazy and negative, he gonna ignore you. Yep, that's what they're saying. But him being in this trial by himself, people questioned it. Yeah. It's crazy how, the verdict came about. Some people were surprised. And then this is the other thing, you guys, too. She was saying when the verdict was read, when certain charges were read, his team celebrated. Why would his team celebrate on certain counts that he was found guilty on? There's people telling lies, y'all. I ain't gonna name no names, but y'all can put it in the comment. There's people telling lies. I've been watching them for 2 years. Go back and look at how they did the Kardashian and Blac Chyna case. Oh, people are telling me stuff. I'm hearing stuff that's happening in the court. That was a closed courtroom. So then people were like, tell your source. They couldn't tell the source because they didn't have a source. People like lying. So I don't watch them enough. I stopped. Years ago. I was getting ticked because some of my content, it was like she was reading my talking points. I couldn't take it no more. I tried to be cool, but then once saying people were passed away, go back. I think the title's still there. She said a person had passed away. He was in jail. And then other guys were saying, chick, he didn't pass away. He's in jail. It shows his name. It shows his jail number. He's still in jail. What are you talking about? There's people that talked about that Jonathan Odie thing. There were people that talked about the Shaquilla Robinson thing. How they were saying that somebody was in jail from that. No. That whole situation. That's when I started realizing people were calling them out in regards to the Shaquilla Robinson thing and the Jonathan Odie thing. And then the Kardashian thing. And now this Diddy thing. Y'all, some people on YouTube love YouTube beefs. They love it. 2-3 times a year, they get into a YouTube beef to get subscribers. It's crazy to me. It's crazy work. Some people on YouTube cover celebrity media, but then they also love YouTube beefs. They do. It's crazy work. I stay away from it because I ain't got time. Leave me alone. Yep, some people love YouTube beefs. It's crazy. And some people just cover it of what's happening. But that YouTube beef stuff is crazy work. It's crazy work. My page get millions of views. So be careful what y'all listen to. Be careful who are basically saying they're trying to play victim. Be careful. Look it up. Go watch the short videos. Men, and this is the other thing. Baby, let's say this. Okay. some of the people that took the stand, they were supposed to be anonymous, right? They were supposed to be anonymous, right? Allegedly, on a video, they said the person's name. They said Mia's name. I don't know who Mia is. I don't care who Mia is. I don't know. There's conversation about Jane. I ain't going to go into Jane. But allegedly, she did a video and named who Mia was. Then there was a YouTuber that showed the video of her saying who Mia was. Okay? She said the name. There was a YouTuber that showed the video of what she said. Do you know they tried to kick him out and not kick her out? Baby, there's some dirty work. I kid you not. They were trying to kick him out and not kick her out when he did the video saying she did this first. I didn't do this. He showed the video of what she did. They were trying to get him kicked out of the courtroom and not her. And she was the one that said it, not him. He's just telling y'all this is what she did. And then remember, she was like, I'll give people money. If you can say that I gave out the name, I'll give you such and such money. What? Go check out my shorts. Some dirty work, y'all. So luckily, they did not kick him out because he did amazing coverage. Whether you like how people were saying Diddy was innocent, not innocent, how they wrote the charges, that was their fault how they wrote the charges. There's people that did amazing work. There's people that did amazing work regarding the trial. And literally, they almost tried to kick him out. Maybe that girl was jealous of how he was reporting on it. And she wanted that media space. He was covering it. He was on academics. He did amazing with his hat, big shirt, big old pants. There was people that did amazing work. But there's some people that love drama so much, they'll try and snatch somebody to get that media coverage. YouTube is something else. There's people that are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Leave me alone. I know what's going on. I am not lying. I am not jealous. I watched some of these people because I was watching them before the drama started. I was watching them before the drama started. There are people that don't like conflict. They just want to focus on the case, and they did that. So when they tried to push up on the guy, and he was like, I ain't got nothing for you. I already know you're going to lie, so I'm going to just stay away from you. He stayed away from her. So there's a lot of people calling out YouTubers right now for lying and trying to play the victim. If they don't have a video of somebody saying what they're saying, don't believe it. My page get a lot of views. That's the only reason why I'm covering it. I'm not going to say people's names, but be careful. There are people that's seeking media attention, clicks, and views. YouTubers, some of them are so normal, some so kind, so respectful. They don't like drama. There are certain YouTubers I listen to, they don't get into YouTube beefs, and neither do I. I don't have to be first. They're the same way. They don't have to be first. Whenever you hear somebody, oh, I got the exclusive, they seek that. They seek to be first. They seek to have that exclusive. Maybe because they're losing subscribers. There are YouTubers that's doing an amazing job. For the last 2 years, they've surpassed people that's been on YouTube for 5-6 years. They worked hard. They work with integrity. They work to give you the story the best way they can give you the story. So focus on the great YouTubers. Go over to subscribe to your favorite YouTubers. Go over and like their videos. Go over and give them super chats. Support the great YouTubers that's out there that's not doing stuff for clickbait. They're not lying and they're not trying to play victim. Go support the great YouTubers. They're out there. They're out there. And I feel bad. One of the YouTubers are having personal stuff going on, and they still covered the story with the best way they did. They still covered the story of Diddy and the trial the best way they could. You know? And then certain people were doing other stuff when the verdict came out. So you got to be careful of what you put out. You got to protect your character. You got to protect your page. You got to protect your page. You can't do the YouTube beefs and think you're going to get on News Nation or CBS. You got to be honest. You got to be open. You got to be open and you got to be honest. If you're telling falsehoods, people will call you out. So go support your favorite pages, y'all. I just came on because I know this video is going to get a lot of views and I just need to cover it. Don't, and then some people are trying to get people pages taken down for telling their truth. Certain people are trying to get people's pages down for telling their truth. That's crazy work. Be careful if they seek media attention. Be careful if they seek to be first. Be careful if they seek to, I'm the only one that with the exclusive. No, you're not. If you got that from TMZ or Neighborhood Talk or the Shade Room, you didn't get it exclusive. Stop lying. What? You got it from TMZ. You didn't get the exclusive because their reporters were reporting on it first. People are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Real talk. So do me a favor. If there are people you haven't subscribed to, go subscribe and say thank you for your content. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your coverage. Thank you for not trying to play the victim. Thank you for not doing the YouTube beast. Go over and support your great content creators. They need it. The jury made a decision. Certain people are calling them dumb, stupid, idiotic. That's not necessary. The jury made a decision. It was given in their hands to make a decision. Why would you be calling them names? That's not necessary. So I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. Over here, we talk about what's really going on. People are big mad because Diddy's attorneys did that. They should have wrote it better on what they wanted to charge him with. I am not a legal page. This is not legal advice. We just give our opinion. Everybody should be respected. Everybody should get love. You know what I mean? But I still don't understand. And I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still waiting for a page to tell me, why didn't they charge him for what was in his house? Why didn't they charge him for what was in his hotel? Real talk. And maybe it would have worked on the RICO and racketeering. Maybe that's what that was, you know what I mean? But they couldn't charge him for it. And then you got to remember, if they would have got him under RICO, they were going to try and get his finances. So Diddy was celebrating. They can't go after his alleged finances. His family was celebrating because they can't go after his finances. And I've always said, praying for his children. And I've always said, for the 6 weeks, he's innocent till proven guilty in a court of law. A jury and a judge is going to make a decision. The jury made a decision not guilty on certain things. Now the judge is going to make a decision on what he plans to, for the guilty verdict. He's going to make a decision on how much time he's going to give them. People are lined up to make decisions, and people are not respecting those decisions. Crazy work. So be careful of the lies. Be careful of people trying to play victim. Be careful of the YouTube beasts. Some people want clickbait. Some people want to drag people down. It's not worth it. Do you? Work your page. Work your page. Stay focused. Stay focused. Are some of these people okay? Are some of these people okay? Real talk. People are wondering. But I just wanted to cover it because it's out there. And just be careful. If you like that, that's you. You might like people saying they got the exclusives and they don't. You might like the YouTube beast. You might like that stuff. That's you. There's people out there that have a lot of integrity and they want the information and they don't want to be sitting there for 8 minutes and then you finally, the last 6 minutes, it's like you got people over there to tell them the story. You don't tell, it's an 8-minute video. You don't tell them what's really going on until the last 2 minutes. People have sat through the last 6 minutes. They don't even know what's going on. And see, my page is a little different. We go fast over here. I get y'all the information, then we're gone. And then we debunk stuff too. So, wishing y'all well. Be careful. People are making comments that's not true. And unless they got, and I haven't seen the threat videos. And if there's police out there, the police didn't make a report on people. So how can you say you were threatened when the police are standing outside? I don't need to be first. I don't need to be first, and I don't do YouTube beefs, but I know a lot of people are not telling the truth. No, I'm not with the stuff. I don't do clickbait over here, and you know I don't do clickbait. But I'm telling you that there's some stuff that's being falsely talked about. So, and on my page, over the last 2-3 years, I've only blocked. YouTube blocks a lot of comments, but on my page, I've only blocked maybe 100 to 200 people. I don't normally block what people say because I ignore a lot of it. Well, well wishes, y'all. Be careful. There's a lot of people seeking clicks and views. There's a lot of people that's being called out allegedly for telling lies. You'd have to go over there and watch their videos to find out if they were lying or not. I ain't got time. I ain't got time. And we're finding that the courts allowed certain people to go ahead, and certain people got press passes. So it is what it is. So, yeah, unless they got videos to tell us what really happened, then okay. But some of these people are and then some of these people, they're lying on them, and they're getting unwelcoming comments in their messages. And then certain people didn't know why people were feeling the way that they were feeling. They found out last night. They found out last night of why people were making threats to them because they were lied on. So thanks for being here. No, that's the one thing about my page. I'm pretty honest. I'm not delusional. I know what's going on because I've dealt with it myself. I dealt with it myself. I know what's going on. I've dealt with it myself, and some of my favorites have been put in situations they didn't want to be put in. So it is what it is. My page, I try and be open, honest. I give y'all the platform to be open, honest. And it's different. It's different if I like the YouTube beast. I don't like it. It's different if I try and do clickbait. I don't do clickbait. It's different if I get involved in all the shenanigans. I don't get involved in that. So what does that say? My character is pretty decent. Like I said, if you like that clickbait, you must like what they do. If you like the people that lie, you like to lie too. If you like to say people are threatening you, you probably do that same stuff too. Not over here. We talk about what we got to talk about. We get to it, and then that's what it is. I question certain people's character. And people are asking, are those women okay? Are you okay? What's really going on with you? You seemed normal, but now certain videos, they roll in their eyes, they're repeating themselves. People back about two years ago, they used to catch her yawning all the time. It's like, why are you yawning? Are you all right? Yeah, and I'm trying to be open and honest. I'm seeing stuff. Some of my favorites are going through stuff they shouldn't even have to be going through because they don't do YouTube beasts. They don't get caught up in the lies. And now you're almost pushing them. You're trying to get up on them. And then we're hearing that they're saying they were threatened. They weren't threatened. We see the videos of the two guys and what they're saying. They weren't threatened in those videos. So it is what it is. Believe what you want to believe. Some people love drama. Some people love conflict. They love it because they have to find the next topic to talk about to pull you guys in. They have to find the next drama or issue to pull them people in. Not here. We don't have to be first. I talk about what I can talk about. I present what I can present. And I don't have to have the exclusive. I don't have to. So be careful. Thank you, Joseph. Love your honesty. Love the truth. Bless you. Thank you. Yeah, some people love drama and conflict. They do. Thank you, James. Yeah, be careful. And that's why I tell y'all all the time. I listen to legal pages that's going to help me have an understanding of what's going on. People are trying to distract away from the trial. Some people are saying people were sent outside to distract. Was that true? I don't know. Maybe that's their character of being outside and being loud and screaming in people's ear while they're trying to do videos. There was a lot of concerns out there. There was a lot of safety issues out there of people just acting weird. It's like people were having a decent time. And then more people started trying to come to the trial. And that's what we're finding out. More issues were occurring because they love the drama. They love the conflict. Yeah. But it is what it is. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being kind. Just be careful if somebody's playing a victim. If they say that they're a victim, say, show me the video. Show me the video of the threat. If people are trying to play the victim, say, show me the text message of the threat. You know what I'm saying? If you want proof, ask them for proof. And if they can't give you that proof, then you're going to know they lying. Ask for proof. Ask for proof. People are trying to get some clicks and views on some lies. Why? And what will they cover next? So I already told y'all, I noticed stuff 2 years ago. I noticed stuff 2 weeks ago. And I told y'all that Monday, stuff is coming. I told y'all. And y'all was like, who? I told y'all. Because there was a established journalist that said they're telling lies. And I even said to them, you gotta stop that. He had said that. So, well wishes. Okay, everyone. Be kind, be respectful. Focus on healthy, safe. Yes, call 911 if you have a problem. There's police outside the building. There's police inside the building. And did we hear that anybody got arrested at the courthouse? I think they might have said maybe one person did. Wait, one person got removed inside the courtroom. One person got removed inside the courtroom. But if there was stuff happening, in front of police officers, you're bold. If there's stuff happening outside the courtroom, you're bold. If I'm in front of police, I'm not causing no drama. I'm not causing no conflict. I'm going to just get the story. Yes. Yep. Who's stealing, James? I'm trying to understand. Who's stealing, James? But yeah. Yep. People were trying to get clicks and views. People were mad, like people that's out at home covering the case. It's like, oh, you don't know what's really going on. We're getting the information. She was carrying a lot of bags. Oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of us was getting information from news. We're getting news from journalists. And they wanted us to get the news from them. No, thank you. I don't have an extra 15 minutes for you to tell me what's going on. And then you only tell me what's going on in 3 minutes. No, I don't have time to be sitting waiting. My page goes fast. So I hope y'all appreciate that. Have a great Sunday. Be blessed. Watch out for the lies. Watch out for people that's trying to play victim. If they can't show you the video, they can't show you messages, they can't show you that they did a police report at the courts, don't believe the BS. All right, everyone. Focus on healthy, safe relationships. Be around people that's loving, kind, and respectful. And if you guys did not know, and look out for the false prophets. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. People were saying, well, why is Diddy the only one? Why didn't they go after the agency that presented these workers? People are saying, why aren't y'all going after the agencies? We don't know I don't know. Can they still go after people? Thank you so much, Connie. Appreciate you. There was something else I was about to say. I'm hearing other stuff. I'll wait to announce if that's true or not. Because, I'm cautious about what I say. But I try and bring y'all information that's factual. There was something else I was going to say. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it. But I appreciate y'all. Go over to support your subscribers. Say, I'm over here. Let's talk about it. Media 21. Go over. If your favorites are trying to hit, they need another 5,000 people to subscribe. Go over and support them. Go support your favorite YouTubers. Real talk. If they don't do YouTube beefs and they're trying to stay away from the conflict, they do that to protect their peace. They do that to protect their peace. And did y'all catch that they were passing out shirts Frico is not a Rico or something like that. Yeah, they were passing out shirts outside. That was interesting. What else was interesting? Some people came out to the Diddy trial talking about other cases. Some people came out to distract, and they were just yelling about stuff that didn't, you know what I mean? It was kind of weird. But some of those people that cover the case, it was a lie. And we really need to keep them in our prayers because they might emotionally be going through stuff trying to cover this doggone trial. Real talk. It was a lot. It was a lot. Hearing about how Cassie and the women were treated, hearing about how the employees were treated. There should have been a better HR situation. There should have been a better union situation. But like I said before, Diddy's team did an amazing job. In certain areas, they did. Right, wrong, or indifferent, they came to play. So, thank you guys. Have a great Sunday. Goodbye. Be blessed.